Are you dreaming of coastal living with a touch of small town charm? At Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate Treasure, your dreams are transformed into reality. From residential and commercial real estate to long-term rentals, their expertise covers it all. They now have 3 locations to serve you in Sneads Ferry, Surf City, and their newest location in Wilmington. Whether you're relocating, retiring, upsizing, or downsizing, Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate Treasure is dedicated to supporting your buying and selling needs. Visit treasurerealty.com today or call 910-327-4444. Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate Treasure, your trusted local experts. Welcome to Topsail Insider, where you can hear all about the businesses and events in the beautiful coastal towns in the greater Topsail area of North Carolina. Coming up, all right, cycling enthusiasts who also enjoy excellent beer, head on over to Salty Turtle Beer Company and meet your tribe. I am here today talking with Jill Schiffelbein, board member of the Salty Turtle Cycling Club and the chairperson for the annual Haunted 100 bike ride. This exciting event benefits the Karen Beasley Sea Turtle Hospital, so stay tuned to find out everything you need to know about joining this awesome club for brews, fun, and fundraising on today's episode of Topsail Insider. It's time to indulge and experience the finest coastal hospitality on Topsail Island with Saltwater Resort and Suites in Surf City, North Carolina. Designed to exceed your expectations, guests can enjoy elegant suites featuring premium, luxurious bedding, fully equipped kitchens with dishwashers, 75-inch flat screens, ensuite washers and dryers, and gorgeous ocean views. With the grand opening of their newest location, you can now relax in their saltwater pool opening at the end of July, and their modern clubhouse, perfect for unwinding and socializing, is now open for private events. Book your next beach getaway today at saltwatertopsail.com or call 910-886-4818. Saltwater Resort and Suites, redefining luxury on Topsail Island. Come on out to Surf City Line for the best made-from-scratch beach and bowls on Topsail Island. Treat yourself to their delicious bowls with shrimp, steak, fish, chicken, or pork. Or enjoy their peel-and-eat shrimp, beach break salads, and more. They offer a full bar serving handcrafted cocktails, incredible margaritas, and they proudly serve North Carolina craft beer. The Line boasts the biggest deck on the island with 3 levels for listening to live music, relaxing in the sun, or head on up to the top deck to enjoy your meal with ocean views. Visit surfcitylinenc.com for their full menus. The best service and beach vibes on the island await you at 2112 North New River Drive. Whether you're a local or visiting from out of town, celebrating a special occasion, or just soaking up the sun with family and friends, it's always a great time at Surf City Line. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Topsail Insider. My name is Krista, and I am your host. Today, we are talking to Jill Schiffelbein. She sits on the board of directors of the Salty Turtle Cycling Club and is also the chairperson for the annual Haunted 100 bike ride. Welcome, Jill, and thank you so much for joining me today.
I am so thrilled to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure. Before we dive into today's episode, I want to just take a moment and introduce anyone who's new to the area or those planning a vacation to the Topsail area soon, to one of our local gyms. It's called Salty Turtle Beer Company. It's located on Triton Lane in Surf City, North Carolina. It's veteran-owned and operated and a real community favorite. It offers a very laid-back atmosphere. They offer creative brews. They host awesome food trucks, and they are dedicated to supporting a lot of local causes like turtles, pets, vets, and food pantries. It is also Pender County's first brewery, which opened in 2017. They also host 2 clubs, the Run Club and the Cycling Club. And we're going to talk today about the latter. So, Jill, how did you learn of and join the Salty Turtle Cycling Club?
I learned about it by drinking beer.
How I knew you were going to say that.
Of course. I mean, I cycle so I can drink beer. That's what most of us do. I mean, not really. I love
You're burning
cycling.
calories.
I earn my reward.
Right.
But no, I learned about it just going to the brewery. When I first moved here, I bought my place on the island in November of 2020, and in February of 2021 became a full-time resident. And shortly after that, I'd gone up to the brewery a couple times, and I saw on their walls, they have signs for cycling club. And I'm thinking I should really get back into cycling, because in a previous life, I was really into triathlons, did Ironman and all that type of stuff, 100-mile races, yada, yada, yada. And thought, maybe it's about time to pick that back up. So went and got a bike in April of 2021, got involved.
You have this amazing professional background, which we will touch on much later. But now you're this incredible athlete, too, with triathlons.
Oh, I was. That was previous life. Previous life. You're not getting me running right now. No. 4 knee surgeries later, my knees do not do that. But cycling is great.
Do you know the story behind the founding of the Salty Turtle Cycling Club? Who came up with the idea?
I don't have the full story, and I could say some salacious things that my fellow board members would laugh at. But the real story, as I know it, is there are a few people who are also on the board. Hayden Frost is our president. Dale Streely is our treasurer. Dan McDonald and Brad Pfeiffer also in the area, also on the board. And Hayden and Dale met coincidentally when Hayden was looking for a house with his wife, Chris. And him and Dale both are wearing the same exact biking shirt from an event in Iowa.
No way.
RAGBRAI, which is actually literally happening this week right now, where you ride for 7 days across the state of Iowa.
Gosh.
And so it was their sign. They're like, this is our neighborhood. This is our town. We were meant to live here.
Yeah,
and
that's incredible.
They hung out. They would cycle, and they'd be up having beers, and eventually talked with one of the owners, Dan Callender, who also rides. And a club was formed. And that was September 2020. So people
2020.
Really just starting to get back out again. And I came into the picture in April of 2021, and there wasn't an official board or anything like that right away.
What are some of the benefits of joining the club? What kind of activities and events does the cycling club organize?
We do a lot of different things. We have our standard Sunday ride, and this is how I joined. It's 10 a.m. every Sunday, although right now we are starting at 8:30 because the traffic, with all our beaches being named, some of the best beaches, we keep getting more and more tourist traffic. And so as a board, we decided in the summers, we're now moving the ride to 8:30 instead of 10, just because it's a little safer for everyone involved. And safety is huge for us. So we do that, but most of the year it's 10 a.m. And you can find out exactly when that switches over on our Facebook group. And of course, at the brewery too, they have that information. But you come out, you can ride. We do a 20-mile route. We leave and return from Salty Turtle, of course.
Do you have the same route each week? Or
we do.
You do? Okay. And
same
it's 20
exact
miles.
route each week. It's 20 miles, and we like to keep it consistent. One, for locals who live in the area, they'll see us every Sunday. If they know members of the club, they'll stand outside and wave or sit on a balcony or stuff. It makes it fun. And it also is good because sometimes we have members who are not here full time, as a lot of people are not. And it's nice to have that consistency because then if people get lost, there's always standard regroup points. However, the club does have, Brad is our, we call him the chair of non-official Sunday rides. And so once or twice a week, there will be these rides posted. Wednesdays, we do a ride from Ironclad Shaka Taco.
Yeah.
And ride around this area. And it's nice. And sometimes there are Saturday rides, and sometimes we'll do gravel rides. And we mix it up. And anyone on the Facebook group, we have 400 plus people on the Facebook group.
Oh, wow.
You don't have to be a member to be on the Facebook group, but anyone can post a ride anytime. We just have a member who's training for Ironman right now and says, hey, September 8th, I need to get a 100-mile ride in. Anyone interested in joining? Boom, people sign up. And what's great is the community is built up so well now. And when we say we welcome riders of all levels, right? People are like, well, what does that really mean?
I wanted to ask you about that.
Yeah. So if you're not comfortable riding on your own on the road, join the Facebook group. Say, I want to get into cycling. Here's where I'm at. Is anyone willing to help guide me? And you will have people jumping on board to help guide you.
That's great.
You will have some people say, don't go over the bridge. You're new. Just ride on the flat island. I will meet you on the island and start the ride with you there instead. And you have to. Mandatory, if you ride with us, must wear a helmet. Zero tolerance policy for non-helmets. We will not let you out in the group with us, period, if you don't have a helmet.
What about what you do after a ride?
you have to riding isn't enough in and of itself. Of course, after the ride is the best part. You've earned the reward. So after the ride.
Do you guys all sit down at the Salty Turtle and enjoy some beer and hang out and have fun? And
we do.
I love it.
Every Sunday. But in addition to socializing after the rides, just such an active community. We had last year, somebody from our club was dancing in the stars for Onslow County. And so we got a group of people from the club together, purchased a table and went and supported, right? And so it's just, again, it's genuinely a community. And I've lived a lot of different places, and a lot of people in this area have lived a lot of different places. Yeah. And most people, once they find this club, they just feel like they're home because there's something for everyone. There's an age group for everyone. Mm-hmm. And it's so nice. So this year, we actually started doing an official quarterly potluck. It sounds so simple, but oh my gosh, after the rides, we're all hungry and thirsty anyway. And one of our members I'm talking top in the country bakery level sourdough guy. Shout out to you, Michael. Makes the best sourdough bread. And he joined us within this past year, and he brought that bread once, and we're all like, you have to stay.
Yes. And bring that bread every single potluck. Every
time. It's amazing. But there's people, we have a guy who used to own a barbecue company. The company shut down, but once a year he'll do different things. And it's just fun. And you get to know people outside of the ride. The challenge is, though, we all look very different in our bike kits with our helmets on. And so sometimes you don't recognize people when you're out just living normal life.
It's very supportive.
It is a supportive community, and we formalized membership, right? We decided to have the membership because as a member, we can provide different insurance benefits for the group rides, which is good. It just keeps all of us a little safer. But we also then have more of a standing within the community, right? We can contribute to it. So it's only $20 a year to be a member, and you get discounts at area businesses. You get
reasonable.
15% off of merch at Salty Turtle.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
That alone may save people more than $20 in a year, right? But other area businesses, Sundial gives us discounts on some coffee and tea. Salt Marsh on Sundays gives us discounts.
So cool.
It's just a really great way to involve the community. And now that Topsail Surf and Cycle is also right across the Surf City Bridge.
Yeah.
They're a sponsor and great people too.
How many members do you have in the club, and how do you become a member?
Yeah, to become a member, we have a link to a site that runs through an organization called Racklet. It's a software program that helps us keep track of membership, ticket events, that type of thing. But we have a site through there. You become a member. You come to an event. You're going to scan a QR code and get to figure it out.
Yeah.
We make it as easy as possible. You don't have to become a member to ride with us. Mm-hmm. We prefer you do, of course, right?
Yeah,
but you don't have to become a member. We genuinely do welcome cyclists and make it a big community thing.
But why wouldn't you? Because you get the benefit of being under the insurance.
Yeah, I mean, which is a huge benefit, right?
Yeah.
There are we have some people who ride with us that are USA Cycling members, which is $150 a year or something, and that covers their ride insurance. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. And there's reasons why people would or wouldn't. But if you come more than a few times, join us. If there's announcements, we can make sure you're informed on the information. And to answer your question on members, we have, I think the exact count is 123 paid members right now.
What are the membership fees? You said is $20 a year?
Yep. You get the insurance and then discounts at local places.
Gotcha.
So from different food, merchandise, services, discounts, that type of thing. And you're helping us cover the administrative costs so we can, of course, be this 501c7 and make the donations we do.
Perfect. What age groups are represented in your memberships? And also, is there an age minimum to join the club?
That's a really, really great question. Legally, from insurance, it's 18 and up. You have to be a legal adult to be a rider. We do have some families that will come with younger kids, teenage kids who are active in cycling communities. We have some award-winning youth marathon triathlete type. Oh yeah, it's great. But there's the separate process for all of that. And it's something just to communicate and give us a heads up beforehand if that's going to happen, because we want to make sure we don't invalidate insurance or anything like that.
Yeah, right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I wanted to know the age range within the club. Is it 18 to 80?
I think we probably, I know for sure we have 60s. We might have 70s. We might even have 80s.
Really?
Yeah. And we have 18, barely out of high school. Cool. And it's really cool also, I think, to see, especially now, people in all generations. I mean, we have probably 3 or 4 generations of people riding and socializing and being in community together.
Yeah.
We just had some members, shout outs to you, Misty and Rob. I'm going to make sure you hear this episode. Rob got stationed in Okinawa and they left, and they were very, very involved in the club and volunteering and everything. Everything we do is 100% volunteer run and driven.
Okay.
So we don't have any administrative staff or anything like that. So it's all labors of love for those of us in the community. But it's like when people move away, we threw a big old goodbye.
Going away parties.
Going away, not goodbye. Going away, coming back, ride and after party and everything. People come and they go, but most of them come back, and it's really great.
I don't even ride, and I want to join your club.
Come on over, right? You don't even have to ride to join. You can just come drink with us afterwards. We're happy with that.
Just driving in our area, period. Highway 17 it feels like a death trap some days, right? And then when you get closer to the island, we've got all the tourist traffic during high season. It just feels like it can get super dangerous. So I'm wondering, what kind of safety concerns do you typically face when you're riding, both when you're alone riding your bike, but also as that larger group?
We try to do as much as we can as a group that educates people that we're out there. So on our Sunday rides, we have warning riders ahead signs before and after the entrance of Salty Turtle. So we're at least notifying people. And then we, instead of riding out in mass in one huge group, that's going to take up a longer period of time, we ride out in smaller groups. So that, again, we can let more traffic go through it. Because what happens is, even though, again, we can get on the road and be on the side of the road and people could still get by just fine, they don't. And thank you for being cautious, but our goal isn't to impede traffic. Our goal is to be in the flow of the road. So we'll get there and we'll release in smaller groups intentionally so that there's not this mass blocking traffic. When we do have our big events like Haunted 100 that I know we'll talk about in a little bit, we pay Surf City Police overtime and do police efforts and escorts and blockage. We do all of the things to keep riders and drivers as safe as possible.
Perfect. Discover the boardroom at Saltwater. Saltwater Resort and Suites' new full-service, modern event space, perfect for weddings, private functions, corporate meetings, and retreats. This 1,800 square feet Topsail Island venue boasts a fully enclosed first floor, a 75-inch TV with video conferencing technology, and a fully equipped kitchen with a roll-up bay window to serve your outdoor guests who just might be enjoying the saltwater pool. The second floor offers a covered open-air space with a bar, plenty of outlets for equipment and live music, and views of the Intercoastal Waterway. The entire venue offers Wi-Fi and a Bluetooth music system throughout. Located on the new Saltwater Resort property, attendees can easily transition from the event to their rooms. Visit saltwatertopsail.com for more details and reservations, or call 910-886-4818. Elevate your next event and treat your guests to the boardroom at Saltwater Resort and Suites. Hey Insiders, if you haven't tried Surf City Line, what are you waiting for? If you have, you already know how amazing their beach and bowls are and how wonderful that multi-level deck is for listening to live music, soaking up the sun, and enjoying food, drinks, and some of the best service on Topsail Island. Follow Surf City Line on Facebook and Instagram, where you'll find their lineup for their live entertainment. Feel like walking off that delicious food before heading home? Well, take their walkway right to the ocean for a quick stroll on the beach. They have plenty of parking right next to the restaurant and a large lot across the street. They're located at 2112 North New River Drive, where Surf City meets North Topsail. I'll see you at Surf City Line. Do you have any tips that you just want to give the drivers today that they could just hold on to when they see you and just try to remember to stay focused on your safety?
We're all guilty of being in rushes. None of us are immune to that. It happens. Life happens. And some are legit emergencies and some are just because, wow, I sat on my couch enjoying my coffee too long and I'm going to be late and it is 100% my fault. And we just have to own that.
Yeah,
but
that's so true.
It is. The reality is, though, 30 seconds can literally save a life. And when you have people posting on Facebook groups about just hatred for cyclists being on a legal road, it's bad. That's not okay.
Right.
So take a breath, It may be 30 seconds, but it's somebody's life. And you don't know their reason for riding. We don't know your reason for doing the activities you do, but we all just get to do them. Let's all just let people do their hobbies and be safe. I am not saying all cyclists are perfect, because there are some that will just be in these massive groups and take up huge chunks of the road. And even though they could do that, be considerate, cyclists. This is my shout out to all of you too. Be considerate. We're all coexisting here together. But drivers, if you see a cyclist actually signaling, it is the same as a car signaling.
So I have to ask, what accidents have occurred during your club rides?
The worst one was definitely when a person was signaling, moved over, and a person swerved around her and sideswiped her, and her bike went under the vehicle with her. That was by far the worst. I was almost hit. I was run into the side of the bridge on Surf City Bridge. It's like 4 or 5 foot bike lane. I think the person did not see me at first. You heard the slam of the brake and swerved into the bike lane to where I was holding, I got my arm scratched, holding the wall of the bridge to not fall over.
Oh my gosh. Now that you're mentioning it about the bridge riding in particular, I have heard people say, why aren't these bikers in the walking path? I don't think that's where you're supposed to be. I think
actually, it's a hazard. And there's trying to be educational campaigns, because you will have people on bikes and now on e-bikes too, zooming down the sidewalks. The sidewalks are for pedestrians. You're walking your dog. You have your children with you. Do you want an e-bike zooming down on you then? Or any cyclist for that matter?
Yeah.
No.
No, it scares them. It scares the people who are walking. I've seen it happen.
Yeah, no, there's I think it's like 4.5 foot wide bike lane on that bridge.
Plenty
intentionally. Intentionally. But yeah, and even that, I didn't fall. I grabbed the wall. I got scraped up. But even that scare right now in high traffic season, I won't get on my bike. I am not mentally stable enough to do that and ride in a group. Because when you're riding in a group, it's also the safety of the riders around you. And if I'm going to get scared and push my brakes when I probably shouldn't, because that's not normal, that's going to damage other riders. So I take my leave. I still got back on the bike. But now if I'm going to do it, I have people around me who know what happened to me. So they know that I'm going to have a high heart rate and have a little trauma in that experience. On a happier note.
Yes, on a happier note.
Everybody, we love cycling now. But may I just say one thing in summary? It's like, cyclists don't hate drivers. Drivers don't hate cyclists. We all, in reality, are all fine together. It's only when we think our time on either side is more valuable than the other people's out there. And that's when misbehavior occurs. It occurs when cyclists decide to group up and ride outside of the bike lane and block some traffic. And it occurs when drivers aren't willing to take a breath and wait a few seconds to safely pass. Road cycling is different than other types of cycling. And I think a lot of people don't realize that. There's tons of different types of cycling tires. We see those wide, fat tire bikes, right? That have about 3+ inch tires.
Yeah, I have seen those. What is that for?
Riding in sand. Much easier to ride in sand with it.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. But if you take my bike, a carbon racing road bike, and you put that on the sand, you're going to wipe out because there's no traction because my tire is less than an inch.
Really thin. Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people don't understand when they're seeing cyclists on the road. And they're like, well, why aren't you staying in the bike lanes? Well, the bike lane's not cleaned. There's glass there. And if I ride over that in my 1-inch tire, it's going to pop and I'm going to crash.
Yeah.
And it's not safe. So that's why if you see cyclists on the road and we're signaling, we're moving over, it's not because we don't want to be in the bike lane. We love the bike lanes. We love staying on the right side of the road. Even though legally we can take up more, we don't. But we want to be safe. And we talk to our members. We brief everyone every single ride. Before you sign up and start riding, there's waivers you sign. You learn how to ride in groups. You learn how to signal, all the different things. So we are very big on just trying to educate people. So when people are coming new into the community and they want to learn, a lot of them have just ridden by themselves around their neighborhood and it's their first group ride. So we take the time and we always have someone leading the ride. And then we have someone that's called the sweeper that's at the end of the ride. So no matter what level you are at, there will always be a sweeper to help you along and figure it out.
My gosh. I love how safety conscious you all are and making sure that everyone on your team or in your club is following the same rules and you helping each other out that way. All right, everyone, head on over to saltyturtlebeer.com and you can click on the events drop-down menu and you can go to the cycling club page. There you can click on become a member. And they also provide a button to easily find their Facebook group there as well. Okay, now you have a wonderful fundraiser coming up near Halloween. Tell us about the Salty Turtle Cycling Club's Haunted 100. What is it? When is it? And how did it all get started?
The ride this year is October 27th, and it's always the Sunday immediately before, or in the case of the very first one, it was a Sunday that was Halloween. And I am a nerd to the extreme and a fan of alliteration. And how it got started was September of 2021. There was a normal Sunday ride, and we take a break at North Topsail Beach Park to regroup, one of those safety checks that we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
And I had just gotten back into riding that April. It had been so much time away from riding, triathlon, everything. It had been about a decade. And I said, you know what? I really want to ride a century ride, a 100-mile bike ride before my 40th birthday, which was November of that year. I said, any of you want to do that? And slowly people were like, well, yeah, I do that. I've never done that. I'm like, oh. Like a century ride, it feels like a really cool achievement. We were joking about it, and we're like, oh, it'll be on Halloween because my birthday's a week after, and the Haunted 100, yay, alliteration. It's going to be so fun. Yay, spooky ride. And what happened is we mobilized, and it was like a month and a half later, I think it was a couple dozen people got involved, and people volunteered, all just from the club, and we did 100 miles.
So this was the first year. It wasn't as highly organized as it is now.
Oh, no.
Did you come up with the route?
Yeah, we came up with the route, and there was some lapping because there's not a ton of areas around here that have smooth enough roads for road bikes to traverse easily.
Yeah.
And we want people to be safe, so we made a route and then did a full loop and a half a loop of the island to add the last bit of the 100 miles. And so we actually ended up, because of that and the looping, which is just not really fun for anyone who, you're not going to go boating and just circle an island and around and around, right? Yeah. You want some different change of scenery.
Yeah.
And so we found out that, okay, the next year when we decided to make it a public event and had about 100 riders come in.
Oh, it went up to 100 really fast.
Yeah, it was crazy. We'd made it 100K, which is like, 62 miles. So it's still a very good distance of a ride. And we also have a 50K option. So what's great about that is we wanted to have a 50K option, which is about 30 miles, a little over 30 miles, so that people who'd been riding with us and they were just comfortable with the 20, they could feel like for one day, like they could challenge themselves and push a little harder.
Yeah.
And it was really, really cool. So we had family and friends supporting us, making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and kind of tossing them out to us. Not really. We got off the bike and ate them, but and it was casual. And 3 of our active members, myself included, have November birthdays, and another member came up and surprised us with a cake. Like, it was just, again, showing what this community really is. So a few months later, we were all talking after a ride, and I'm like, why don't we open this up to more people? Like, this was great. But then it becomes a real event. Then it becomes not just club. Then it becomes outside riders. Then it becomes, if this is going to be official and something that we know, what else do we have to do? Well, that means whatever route you pick, you have to talk to every single municipality. You have to get permissions.
And you're going through 4,
I think. So we have Holly Ridge, Surf City, Holly Ridge, Sneed's Ferry, which is just Onslow, which goes with North Topsail Beach, and Topsail. So we coordinate with all of them. They all have separate insurance forms and event forms you fill out, which we do. We have our event insurance, which is additional on top of the club insurance that we have. But if you're already a member, it helps save us there. So that's why member pricing is going to be cheaper than non-member pricing for the event. And we also have to get the route approved through the North Carolina Department of Transportation. So there's actually a ton of logistics that go on with this. And shout out to Hayden Frost, our president, who navigates this seamlessly and also goes around. And when he's telling people about the event and doing presentations, brings in the bike tires to educate and show the differences and why it's important that the roads are cleaned and everything like that.
Nice. Very, that's cool. And you said all the proceeds go to the Karen Beasley Sea Turtle Rescue and Rehabilitation Center. This is one of Salty Turtle Company's, it's their primary charity that they contribute to, right?
Yeah, and oddly enough, that's not actually why we picked it. We are all just big supporters of the Sea Turtle Hospital. And of course, who doesn't love them? I think there's probably a good dozen or 2 dozen of our members that are certified nest watchers and walkers and have been trained in all of that. And we decided that if we were going to open it up outside, we wanted to make it about more than riding. And it was a unanimous decision to have the proceeds go there. And we thought, great, if we can contribute $1,000 or $2, this would be really lovely. And the first year we contributed $5,200.
Yeah, so I wanted to talk about that. The first year was just
The inaugural,
the concept of it and figuring out that this could be something more than just a group ride.
It was really, let's get some people 100 miles in and have a really nice beer and food afterwards.
But the second year, you raised how much?
$5,200.
Amazing. And then combined the second and third year, you said over $13,000.
Yeah, so the third year, last year, we raised $8,500. So $8,500 went to the Turtle Hospital. And this is an event, mind you. Our ride this year, and it has been capped. The first year we had like 20 riders.
Yeah.
The first public year, the second one we had, I think it was like just over 100. And then the third year we had, I think it was 120 something. It is capped at 160 riders.
And why is that?
Namely because we have certain capacities in that area for the after party, which is a huge part of the event for us. So fire marshal capacities and everything like that. Mm-hmm. And also it's a manageable amount of riders for the area. Okay. And we did it during a low season. So what's amazing about it, and we didn't even realize this was going to happen, we had people from all over coming in, people who are on again, off again residents of the area coming back, bringing friends, people who are not members of the club, people who hadn't visited here before. The next year they came back. We had it was a ridiculous, like 80% return rate or something.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Which was, it was really high. And people brought new people. We had people flying in from other places and driving in from other places and renting houses and bringing more tourism during an off season. Yeah. Which is really great. And we support the local businesses, especially right around that area. And we know that area around Triton Lane is blown up now. It's amazing. Yeah. So it's so many people and places get to benefit. But of course, most importantly, the Turtle Hospital. And they have been, Kathy, the president over there, she's amazing. And they have all been just a huge supporter in this, and not just because it benefits them, but they come out, they volunteer, they set up a table. We have someone dressed up in the turtle costume. Yes. They've arranged so the guests of riders, so they have something to do during the ride, because if people are coming in town, their families are with them, they get tours of the hospital. There's things for them to do. We've really made this a conscientious, let's raise awareness about the turtles. Let's have education at the event. Let's make sure your family, your kids are taken care of. You drag your parents there like I do every once in a while. They're taken care of. And it's just a really, really nice time.
The after party, that's for the bike riders and any family members.
Yeah, and any family members.
Y'all come back to the Salty Turtle. Is that where that event is held?
We hold the event at the Cove, which Salty Turtle owns. It's their other space, the event space.
Like an event space?
Yeah. And it's one of my favorite parts of the event, right? Yeah. So because of capacity, we can't just be like, hey, anyone, come to this event, right? Yeah. But find somebody to ride 50K or just sign up to ride it. The proceeds are good. It's a donation and come to the after party. But we have an after party that is fully catered. Your registration, if you ride, includes a T-shirt, a finisher pint glass, a beer coupon, or a wine, beer, wine, like you get whatever you want. Some other swag. It's amazing. And then you get the tour of the Turtle Hospital, and even riders, if you want to go, you get a ticket now. We started this last year to be able to redeem to go if you wanted to go at another time. So if your family wanted to wait too, you could all go together. Which
that's
is just
wonderful.
Amazing. But the after party too, we have a 50-50 that's really popular. Last year, we introduced an auction item. We're going to do some more auctions this year, which is going to be fun. I get to be auctioneer. I don't speak fast at all, so I'm sure you're not surprised there. And, and then we have live music. Our members, Dale and Robin, they're amazing. They sponsor live music now every year. And Dale's a musician and plays in a band,
so they'll be playing there at the after party for the registered riders.
Dale won't be, but we'll have live music for the riders and the guests. And then, there's a fun photo booth that we get sponsored. Patriot Illumination gives us that. We have sponsors in the community that help us put on the event and everything like that too. And all of them, of course, are listed on the websites.
As sponsors. Okay.
Yeah. I do need to give a shout out to Lighthouse Engineering, though, who has, after doing this the first year, he was one of the inaugural riders, said next year, what do you need to do to make this happen? And count my company in for the biggest sponsorship without anything. And so for 3 years in a row, Lighthouse Engineering, thank you so much, Paul Scott, has really just kind of kicked and led that off.
Wonderful. So people, they can register to ride on the website. Can they register on the day of the event if you're not at capacity?
No, our registration cuts off on October 1st. And there's a number of reasons for this. Number one, of course, we want to make sure we have the right amount of t-shirts, glasses, and all the swag stuff. But people are like, oh, well, I don't need any of that. Insurance. We have to have specific numbers that we're giving the municipalities, that we provide the insurance and everything else ahead of time too. So those number caps that we give them, our policies are based on certain rates. And also we have to do certain things for communication with all the municipalities.
Okay. So registration cuts off October 1st. So you need to hurry up and go to the website and register for the event. The registration fees. Can you give me the member fees and the non-member fees?
Absolutely. So if you are a member of the club, again, which is only $20 a year, and if you've never ridden with us, you can still become a member. It's amazing and get the discounts at the local businesses. But with that, it's $65. And that $65 covers the ride and event insurance, which is huge, super important. Snacks, coffee, muffins, etc. at pre-ride. All the SAG support and the aid stations. So we have very well-stocked aid stations all along the ride. It is a fully supported route. And anyone who's ever ridden a long-distance bike ride, you know what that means. It's not just, oh, here is one type of power bar and Gatorade. No, there's like fruit, there's sandwiches, there's snacks. I like snacks, right? Yeah. They're fun. You want to ride for the snacks. So we're fully covered. Topsail Surf and Cycle comes, their bike mechanics on site and everything if people need help. And it also includes, of course, the t-shirt, the pint glass, the included beer after it, and your entrance to the after party, which is a fully catered meal. And it's a lot of food. We have been very fortunate to work with Burrito Shack, Allison and Mark. Shout out to you guys. Love you guys who work with us to provide great food. And also with Coastal, who is the next door neighbors.
Coastal Wings.
Yeah. Yes. So we can also, we can provide some type of variety and meet most dietary needs and all of this stuff.
Gotcha.
So it's really great.
So $65, that's, I think for all of that, that's extremely reasonable.
It is. And then if you're not a member, it's $80. But become a member for just $5 more. So if you spend $85, you're a member and you get the member rate. But you don't have to. It's just easier for some people to be 80.
I'm assuming that the participation age is 18, just like joining the club?
Yeah, you need to be 18. You need to be a legal adult to ride in this event in particular. But again, you can come as a guest to the after party and everything else if you are not of age.
Okay. And how can people who can't participate in the ride or even be here for the after party, how can people still donate to your cause, to your ride?
Oh, thank you so much for asking that. So we have a group of volunteers. Robin is our volunteer chair, and she does an amazing job. She's done this since the first public lead. She coordinates everything. Our Salty Turtle Run Club actually steps up, and a ton of them volunteer at the event. Great. We share a lot of members in common too.
I figured you might.
It's great. Even though I don't run, I still pay their membership fee, and I am part of the 0.0 club, which means I will go out and socialize and drink beer, but I do not run.
Finally, a club I could join.
I know, right? It's great. But yeah. So you can look for a call for volunteers. We will have them. The Run Club will have them on their page. The brewery will probably put a link on their website. And then the cycling page, of course, will have a call for volunteers. And even more than that, I know the route and everything is on our website. If you are along the route, the coolest thing ever. And last year, this happened for the first time. The Turtle Hospital told all their members and volunteers, and some of them who lived along the route just came out with signs and cowbells and just cheered when people rode by. And when you are on your bike for hours and hours, it makes
That's inspiring.
So much of a difference. And so if you just want to see what it's like and peer in from the outside, look at the route and just be along the route. Maybe if you want, just come up and go have a beer at the brewery. Our event's over at the Cove. The brewery's open that day, or go there and watch as the riders come in and just be like, forget this. I'm going to stand outside with my beer and cheer the heck out of everyone.
Yeah, I did see where the routes were posted online.
Yeah. We have an event Facebook page, a formal event. We have a Haunted 100 Facebook page that lasts year after year after year. And we also have our registration page, the routes on all of them.
Okay, gotcha. Just continuing with the logistics really fast, what time are the riders arriving that morning?
The 100K ride starts at 8:30 a.m. So you'll have riders arriving starting at about 7:30, depending on what their pre-ride routines are. They open up Salty Turtle for the restrooms if riders need to use it. But yeah, we have coffee that is sponsored and put out there. We have snacks and everything if you want some pre-ride fuel. And we have a ceremony before the event starts. And we thank all of our sponsors who have been so generous with us. We make sure everyone knows the route. We have route sheets. We have downloads that riders can use for their GPS, for their phone. All of that's taken care of. And then we also have a safety briefing. Of course, we make sure everyone knows the signals. We make sure everyone knows the different areas that tend to get clogged up on the roads, just really how to ride as considerately and safely as possible in the area. And then we have a fully supported police escort rollout, which is really, really fun.
That's exciting. And the 50K starts at what time?
An hour after the 100K at 9:30. And we stagger those starts, number one, for the number of riders, even though they're both police escorted. But number two, because we want all the riders to finish at approximately the same time. Because again, the after party is the big thing. It's where we do the 50-50 raffle, we have the auction. And my favorite part is we make the donation.
Oh, so they come there and get the check the same day.
Oh, yeah. We got one of those giant checks for the perfect photo opportunity. Yeah.
I saw that online. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. It's so fun. So I get to always sneak away every year and go hide in the back storage room of the Cove and write it out. It makes me so happy. It's the best.
How long does the ride last? So if you take off at 8:30, what time are you expected to be back?
The fastest riders, maybe 3 hours later. So they'll cover about 20 miles per hour plus. Now, we have many riders that can go faster than that, but sometimes they'll stop, take their time at aid stations or whatnot. Some people could finish sooner than that, and sometimes they do. But that would be the fastest. So you're looking at between 3 to 5 hours, depending on the ride speed. And then the 50K, you can add that out. But for the 50K, we have people that come and ride mountain bikes. It's a long 30 miles on a mountain bike, but it's flat, you know? Yeah. So it's a really nice thing. But I think what makes it so fun, and we see this more on the 50K ride than the 100K ride, which might be for obvious reasons. It is for if you're a cyclist, but if not, because it's a lot easier of a route, is, a lot of the 50K riders will go in costume.
So this is probably the most important question of the day. Most people want to know. It's at Halloween, right before Halloween or on Halloween, depending on the year. So can people dress up in their Halloween costumes before, during, or after the ride? And I'm wondering if riders must abide by any kind of rules as far as safety concerns with costumes getting caught up in chains and stuff.
I think there were 5 questions there. The answer is yes, 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 and yes. So yes to all of those. But we actually do, and we started it for the first time last year. We keep adding things every year. So this year we have a bigger, like more items in the auction and things like that. So we're just now, it's like, okay, let's slow our roll. This worked. We get crazy high ratings from our surveys and everything. So let's just stick with what works. But we added a costume contest.
Oh, okay. This is at the after party?
At the after party, we announce it. But you have to ride in it. Now, you can show up with some accoutrement. To your point of if it's not safe to ride with, we ask you to not ride with that. The best one last year, the winner of the costume contest, I don't know if any of y'all have seen it, but like the professional hobby horsing competitions, where the hobby horse, like the horse head on a stick.
Yeah.
And people gallop around. They're like doing dressage with this hobby horse.
I saw that, but I thought it must be a joke.
It's not a joke. It is a legit real thing. And I think it started in Finland, or at least the ones I've seen are Finnish. But the woman who won the costume competition, and you get Salty Turtle gift cards for winning, came dressed as a professional hobby horser. And so she had a horse, like a hobby horse on her bike, taped there, and then the outfit, and had like jockey outfit on. She rode without the hobby horse taped to her bike for safety reasons. Right? But she came with it all taped in. And we're like, I'm going to hold this for you. Thank you so much. We had so many amazing costumes though last year, and it's super, super fun. So now we have a rider costume contest. Your family, your friends, kids, all welcome to come in costume as well. Not a contest for them. It's for the riders, but you can help judge. And what I find so fun about it is the year before we had it official, some people just showed up in costume anyways. We had, oh my gosh, Jess and Mike, they showed up riding in Batman and Batwoman costumes together. Super cute couples outfit. But what even started it before then, and I've said their names a couple times, so Dale and Robin, shout out to you guys again. Dale did it the first year by himself. He got a gigantic turtle costume, and he put it out there that if he could get $1,000 of pledges all going to the turtle hospital, that he would ride the 50K, the 30-some miles in this gigantic turtle costume.
Did he do that?
He did. The next year, he got his wife on board on a tandem. So it was 2 turtles on a tandem.
2 turtles on a tandem.
And they brought in like $1,700 additionally in the club. So of course the club members, they announce it at the rides, and people are throwing in money to make it happen. And it's just,
that's awesome.
It is so very cool.
It's fun. It's so fun. I want to just go watch.
No, be there. Just come up, watch. It's a good time.
So you've done the ride. You've had that wonderful after party. When do you call it quits for the day?
I mean, kind of a loaded question, depending on how loaded some people are. But yes, I know. You see what I did there. But we do the official announcement. So the auction and the live auction, the announcement of the 50/50 and the presentation check, that ceremony starts at 2.
Okay.
And so plenty of time for you to get back from the ride, relax a little bit, calm down enough to actually enjoy a really good meal, stay and enjoy the photo booth, the music, the festivities, and then we have a nice ceremony all together.
Jill, we jumped right into the club and the ride, and I normally love to start out just by asking guests a little bit about where they're from and find out about them, because I think this podcast is important too, not just about the events and the businesses that we cover, but I want people to get to know their neighbors and make some new friends.
That's so nice.
So I just wanted to ask you some questions quickly because you have such an interesting background. Let's start out with where are you from originally and what brought you here?
Originally born and raised small town in Kansas called Pittsburgh, then by way of the Phoenix metro area in Arizona for 14 years, by way of New York City for 7 years, and then 6 months of craziness during COVID and a relationship that didn't work brought me into the Raleigh area. And I said, I don't want to be here. I'm close to a beach. I'm going to buy a place there. And alas,
and here
it's
you are.
now home.
You said you came here in 2019? No.
2020.
2020.
Yeah, November 2020.
Okay. In the pre-interview, you mentioned that you are an avid traveler. How extensively have you traveled, and what has been your most memorable travel experience?
Oh, man. So I do a lot of travel for work. I have 2 businesses. One I've had for over a decade, and the other one is newer that I'm a partner in. And for that company, I'm a spokesperson. And for my company, I speak on stages. That's as a keynote speaker and a consultant. That's my life. So I'm traveling a ton for that. And so every place I've lived in the past decade, it's always been, for me, it needed to be a place that felt good to come back to and to be my peace. And wow, did I find that here.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Right?
Yeah.
Wow. But I love travel. I love exploring the world. I learned so much more about myself by learning about others and different ways of life. So this year, with what's currently planned, and this can change in a day, Tanzania in December, I'm going to climb Mount Kilimanjaro, and it will be my 59th country.
59th country.
Earlier this year, I was in Kenya, Uganda, and Ethiopia. And latter part of your question, the most memorable travel experience.
Yeah.
I mean, there have been so many. And I think from a memorable experience, trips that I have taken my parents on are definitely super memorable. But for me personally, getting to trek for gorillas in Uganda.
Oh, wow.
And work with habituating gorillas, which is one place in the world you can do this, where you are following gorillas that have not been habituated to human proximity. And it is a 4 to 7 year process that they will habituate a single gorilla family. And you have guards and stuff, but every day there's 4 people that get to do this. And you pay a license, and it's a large donation to the conservation efforts and everything.
To me, actually.
It's a little intimidating. And you have your pack and you're trekking, and it is wild jungle. So you are going through with machetes, cutting your way through, but you're sitting and you stare into the eyes of a wild gorilla that shares 98% of our DNA.
It's crazy, right?
It is surreal. The eyes. It's like, wow, what are you trying to communicate? It blew my mind. And I just learned so much about not only that, but the conservation efforts that area is taking, what tourism actually does to an economy when it's done safely and in a sustainable way, the parameters they've set on the percentage of the gorilla population that they will allow to be quote unquote trekked, which is what the tourism industry around it is called. And there's very strict rules, like you don't touch them. You do, of course, right? You do a lot of things. And
how far away were you from them?
The closest I got was probably 5 feet, which was crazy. And if they approach you, you're staying still. You're staying still. And the ones I did trekking one day, which is the families that are already habituated, and the habituation the second day, which is more of the wild. And we had a gorilla charge us for a little bit. It was a little intimidating, but
oh my gosh, see, that's my fear. See,
but it's
I just that's
it was
no
realized.
longer on my list of things to do.
But it was amazing. I've done safari before, and I've done, I call it the ice safari in Antarctica, those type of things. But this was the most intimate experience with another living being in the wild that I've ever had.
Sounds amazing. It's not something I want to do, but I love hearing about it.
It's not for everyone, but man, I feel so fortunate to have met the right people to know about these things and have the opportunity to contribute and be a part and giving back. I mean, our cycling club gives back a lot to the community, and it's always in my businesses. It's been a big ethos of mine every single year is a percentage of profits every year goes to nonprofit causes of some shape. And they don't stay the same every year. There's some that stay consistent, like American Cancer Society, personal experience, and other things. But I just believe it's so important to give back.
You have a business down in Wilmington. Is it open yet?
The AI business, where we specialize in digital likeness, which is basically creating digital clones of you. We clone your video presence and your vocal presence. And through our application, which is actually what the business is, you're able to generate personalized communication at scale. So, for example, if you knew the names, locations, interests, whatever, if you had a CRM, customer relationship management software with all of your listeners' information, and I got you cloned, what I can do is you can set up an automated communication that goes out where every single listener would get a personalized video mentioning by name, where they live, the first date of the show they listen to, the name of the next episode coming up. And
I love that.
It's,
oh my gosh,
the communicative power of this is huge. We have partner studios around the country. John and Moki, my two business partners, actually started this. They talked to me about it. I got on board, was using it. And this is back in 2021, before ChatGPT was even announced, right? So we met, I was the one using it, started studying use cases. And since my business is all about communication strategy, it just fit. And so we formed a formal entity, and our studio partners are all over the country. And we are going to have the first one in North Carolina that is certified in producing digital likeness clones. Amazing. Is going to be in Wilmington.
That's so great.
I'm so excited about it.
When is that going to open?
I don't know the exact date. We are in the training phase right now. So as you can imagine, there's a rigorous process of learning and the shooting and the capture processes that we go through, but at the absolute latest this fall.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's coming up.
It's close, yeah.
The name of the company is Render?
The name of the company is Render.
And you've written some books. Can you just tell me about your books quickly and about your speaking and coaching?
My fourth book is coming out this fall, which is exciting. The first one was a business textbook, actually, which is like business and professional communication in the global workplace. It was used at universities, came out 2009. This was a while ago when I was teaching at Arizona State. And then the Athletes Media Playbook was the second one. And that was something that got me in the door at the NFL Super Bowl's player networking event. Because I didn't have a book on athletes in sports, but I was being interviewed about communication in sport. And the guy's like, well, you need a book on this if you want to speak. And I'm like, well, I'll get you one in a month. And he goes, yeah, you do that. I'll be on stage in New York next year with you. And then 21 days later, he had a book.
No. Okay. I'm just blown away. I don't even know what to think about you, honestly. You know, in 21 days, you had another book.
It's not like the most riveting thing. Writing a book is not hard. Selling a book is murder.
Yeah.
Selling a book is different. So this, it had a purpose. It was short, but this was stuff I was coaching in already. I was working with WNBA players, some NFL players, whatever, on media and communication and getting their presence out there. And my first business focused on that and executives and organizations, helping them speak better in public. So it was relatively easy to put together from that standpoint. But I sent it to him, and I got to speak at the New York Super Bowl player networking event. That was like pretty cool. It was a fun thing. And I'm a tomboy from Kansas, so I was geeked out about it. But my baby, my Dynamic Communication 27 Strategies to Grow, Lead, and Manage Your Business came out in 2017. And I divided it into 27 strategies and interviewed 27 different successful business people, one for each of the strategies along with it. So it was bringing in a whole community into the book. So it wasn't just my viewpoints. It wasn't just my teaching, my expertise. And so we did that, and it worked. But
so what about the Effective Business Communication for Dummies? And is this the official For Dummies series? It is the official For Dummies brand, which I was super honored to get this request. So it's done.
It's done. It's in final author review right now. And then either October or November it comes out.
Amazing. Let's talk about future plans. So what can you tell me about future plans for the cycling club or the Haunted 100 ride?
From the cycling club side, we continue to welcome more riders. We genuinely love it. We love fresh blood, new faces. But it's great. The community keeps growing, and people who come in and stay are people who care about others. They care about the community. They want to be involved. And it's, again, just such a genuine and loving group of people. And I'm so fortunate to have found it. And I'm so fortunate to call many of them friends. And for people listening that will join, future friends. So please come be a part of it. And when you have ideas and you want to volunteer and step up, like, we don't turn that down. We have members doing all types of things. We have official gravel rides at gravel trails at Holly Shelter, the game land, now that we never had before because a member stepped up and said, hey, I want to ride gravel and I'll lead this effort. Great. Come on down. On 100 this year, we have a goal of fundraising. I am really hoping that we will break 10,000. And my board is going to kill me when they hear this because they're like, no, that's not what we agreed on. That is my hope. That was not Jill's goal, but I am putting that out there in the world. And we have a lot more people involved this year from leading in a volunteer perspective in terms of the coordination. And it really does take an army to put on events like this. And people are like, oh, it's just a bike ride. No, 5 municipalities of insurance and paperwork and roads and Department of Transportation and everything else. It's a lot. And there are a lot of people who volunteer a ton and too many to name right now with the time we have. Yeah. But check it out. And if you don't want to ride, just come to the brewery that Sunday and have a beer and watch the craziness unfold. It's a really good time, and it's a really important thing for our community. The Sea Turtle Hospital, Karen Beasley Center, it's an institution here, and it's a really, really important one for a lot of reasons, and we're just honored to support it.
With the Haunted 100, let's say you meet the 160 max this year. Do you see growing that number in the future?
If we were to grow, we would have to find a new venue because of capacities.
Okay.
And we have talked about that. And as of right now, we like the size. We like the community and the super close-knitness of it all afterwards, where we can fit everyone in a space. You never know what will happen, though. And it's not decided, maybe the chairperson, but it's not decided by me. It's definitely a full committee vote.
So before we wrap up this episode, what is the most important thing that you want listeners to take away from this conversation? Either it can be about the Salty Turtle Cycling Club, or it can be about the Haunted 100 bike ride, or both.
About cycling in general. Again, 30 seconds and a deep breath can save a life.
Yeah.
And I will continue to push all of our riders to be safe and courteous and considerate. And if we can all just do that, it's just better for everyone. And if you're curious about what this is like, come out, even on a Sunday after a ride, just to hear the stories of cyclists if you want to get involved. And if you want to get involved as a cyclist and you want to pick this up as a hobby, genuinely join the Facebook group, put out in the world where you are right now. There's going to be someone who's going to step up and say, hey, I remember starting at that point too. Or, hey, we have members that are working off of recovery from surgeries right now who are like, oh my gosh, riding 5 miles would be perfect. Just get involved.
Let's give out that contact information. The address for the Salty Turtle Beer Company is 103 Triton Lane. That's in Surf City, North Carolina, 28445. And again, that website is saltyturtlebeer.com. The Salty Turtle Cycling Club, as well as the Run Club, can be found on the Salty Turtle website under the Events tab. And you can register for the event there. And I will have all of the links to the registration pages, the Salty Turtle, to their Facebook pages. I'll have all of that in the show notes for you, clickable for easy access. So thank you, listeners, for joining us today. And thank you again, Jill, for being on Topsail Insider and telling us all about the Salty Turtle Cycling Club and the Haunted 100 bike ride.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's been a pleasure. Hey, if you enjoyed today's episode of Topsail Insider, please show your support by clicking the follow or subscribe button on your favorite podcast listening platform. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Please also go to topsailinsider.com and join our mailing list by clicking on the Make Me a Topsail Insider button. While you're there, you can click the Send Me a Voicemail button and let me know exactly what you're thinking. Your message just might be on an episode of Topsail Insider. You can email me at krista@topsailinsider.com or call or text me at 910-800-0111. Thank you for listening and supporting Topsail Insider and our local businesses and nonprofits. These are our neighbors and our friends, and together we build a mighty and a beautiful community I'm super proud to be a part of. I'll see you around Topsail.
Hey guys, it's Leah with Topsail Talk. I explore local businesses, services, people, and activities in Topsail and its surrounding areas, and I post videos about them. You can find and follow Topsail Talk on Facebook and Instagram. You'll never know where we're going to go, but if you try one of my stops, be sure to tell them Topsail Talk sent you.
Angie here with Houseworks Cleaning Service. Summer's in full swing and you live near the beach. That means you'll have lots of visitors and you'll need your home cleaned. We know your time is precious, so why not give Houseworks a call at 910-547-0260 and let us get her done for you. And as always, at Houseworks Cleaning Service, your house gets the works every time.